Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. I'm here with the Wildlife Master. Hello, Wildlife Master. Please say hello to the people then.
Let me do my intro. So, Hannah, good day to all. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I watched some of the podcasts and things. Interesting. It's a pleasure to be on this podcast.
Good. It's good to see you. Like we've got the eyes now. I wonder if later on the show we might get the full face. But first of all, we're going to be chatting about Caribbean food, and later on, we're going to be talking about some of the interesting creatures and plants, I suppose, that we've seen on your pages. Trinidad and Tobago's wildlife system, like you're the wildlife master, so we're going to be talking about that. But first of all, some Caribbean food. So let's start off the show by asking you, what is your favorite international dish?
International. I would say international would be pizza. It's simple. Simple. Pizza, yes. My favorite international dish.
And what type of pizza would you go for?
I like beef. Beef, right? Yes, I would say chicken is for like stew or barbecue and thing, but pizza for me must have beef. Right. Yes.
And where in Trinidad would you go to get your pizza from?
The surprising thing is the majority of pizzas my sister makes. The majority of pizza I have eaten my sister makes, my sister and mother. Yeah, so but I would eat like at Pizza Hut, Mario's and those other places. But and also Kerry's Bakery. Yes.
Where's Kerry?
Kerry's Bakery, well there's a branch in Caranage, and then there's also a next branch in St. James, Bonds Road corner. Like up like as they bend the corner, a small outlet, Kerry's Bakery.
All right.
Yeah. They have some nice pizzas and other treats.
Okay. So say it's about like 2 p.m. You're in Port of Spain and you're feeling peckish. You want some food. What are you looking for first? Are you looking for Caribbean food or are you looking for international food?
Local Caribbean food. Yes. Yeah, that normally I would go for local almost 100%. If I can't get local, then I go in for pizza.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, like after a certain time, like say after 2 p.m., it's hard to like get after 2, 3, 4 p.m. It's hard to get like local food. I don't know about Port of Spain. Port of Spain might be a lot easier, but like outside of Port of Spain, I find it hard anyway.
Well, I live more in Arima area, but Arima have like it is come alive with food at night. You could get food from 6 p.m. till midnight. It has food all over in Arima.
Yeah, I suppose that's one of the bonuses of the city life. I just love the village life too much for that. But yeah, okay. So what is your favorite Caribbean dish?
Caribbean food, I would say doubles. Doubles. I like doubles. Doubles, yes. Mm-hmm.
And where would you go for your doubles in Trinidad?
Now the funny thing is, I buy doubles in St. James and Arima, but I would say I don't even know the name of the double stand properly. All I know, there's one in Maturita, the biggest double stand you'll see in Maturita, near to the bar.
Where's Maturita?
Maturita is a village, you could say, right outside a community outside of Arima. Okay. Right on the eastern side of Arima. There's a bustling area with a bar, some groceries, agri stores, pet stores. Yeah.
All right. So this would be closest to which store? On the high road?
No, on the main road. On the main road coming out of Arima, going to
Ah,
Valencia.
right.
Right? You come, it's after the pet store, after a little mall it have, and before the bar, right next to the bar. Most people just park in the bar or the grocery to get to the doubles people. I know
So
it's some
so as
people
you're
have
coming
double.
down from Arima heading up to Valencia, it's on the left or the right?
It's on the left. On the left as you're leaving Arima, yeah, it's on the left. Yeah, you almost can't miss it. A big tent, purple tarpaulin. It have lines of people just be there on a Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
All right. And you can't remember the name in St. James?
Not really. I never really see a sign per se. It's just some people park up. So a white tent, people dressed in white. St. James is not near Bondswood, but not on Bondswood itself. But they have a line of doubles people around St. James. Yeah.
Right.
You know, and most of them, I can say most of them, this tastes good. I can't tell you which one of them is my favorite because it's hard to determine that. Yeah.
But okay, so you can't tell me that doubles is your only favorite Caribbean food. What other Caribbean food you like?
Saheena. I like Saheena. Pie.
Saheena is the like this porridge thing.
Saheena is like, how to describe it? It's like
It's like a creamy, whitish.
it fried. It fried
Oh,
similar to doubles, but it have the thick one and the thin one,
oh my
right?
God.
And what they do, they will cut it in half and put chana in between. It's something similar to our doubles, but it have dasheen in it. Dasheen bush. Yeah. It's like they take the butter from the bar and thing and put dasheen leaves in it and fry it. And then they will cut it in half and put chana in between.
And where is it you would go to get that?
In St.
Is it the
James.
same place as the
St. James.
doubles?
Well, not really. There's a blue van opposite, well, right in front of the old gas station in St. James, not far from Republic, no, RBC Bank in St. James on the main road there. Yeah, right in front is a blue van. I would buy Saheena there because they just make my favorite so far.
Right. Okay. And I'm fascinated. I've never even heard of that. But then, I've only been living in the country for like 15 or so years. So, all right. So,
Saheena,
when you use like where do you get your roti from?
Roti. Basically anywhere that sells roti. Honestly, I'm not very picky when it comes to food, but if I'm very hungry and I want a roti and I see a roti stand or a roti shop, I will go in and buy. Places like Hosein's Roti Shop, Holmes Roti Shop.
Right.
Well, Holmes Shop is not really roti shop; it's more Holmes restaurant.
But that's in Arima as well. Then.
Yeah, Arima. It have a branch in Grandy. There's some stalls that is be in St. James as well. I frequent St. James a lot, but in St. James, some stands that they sell roti. It's good. I'm not very picky when it comes to roti, but yeah, those places, yes. And it's beef I'm looking for because I like my beef. Yeah, beef roti. Yes.
Because I was gonna ask you, like, we seem to be like the majority of Trinidadians that I know, just like you, love beef or meat. They love meat. What are your views when it comes to like ordering a vegetable roti?
Vegetables. Vegetable roti is normally the last resort for me, right? Normally the last resort. I wouldn't say I'm not vegetable roti just so. I would normally go down the line. I would say like beef, duck, pork, chicken, shrimp, goat, and then vegetable. Yeah, I like my meat. I like my meat. Yeah.
That's interesting. So tell me, like, if I was like a tourist and you'd have to recommend somewhere for me to go to do something fun in Trinidad, where would you recommend that I go?
To do something fun.
Fun, exciting, and for a tourist.
Normal to start off, I would carry them by, let's say, the beach. One of the best beaches, in my opinion, is Balandra Fish Depot. is an area of Toko that have the boats parked up on one side and calm waters on the other side, but is right after the bay. There's a road going in saying Balandra Fish Depot, and then had the fish depot on one side and the bay, you could say, on the other side, and a river, but it have kind of rough waters, but it's fairly calm. But it's the length of the beach, how secluded, almost secluded, and not, it doesn't have like, well, the times I went, it didn't have crowds of people. So that's one area I would say. Next place is like the boardwalk in Shagaramas.
Right.
Yeah, that's a nice area. I will sometimes just go there to just like relax. It's a nice area, but for me, it's not a nice area on a weekend or on a holiday. I would go there during the weekdays.
Right. Less
Like
people.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the times I would choose.
Have you been to any other islands in the Caribbean?
Only Tobago. I have not been outside of Trinidad and Tobago because, well, one, I'm not really ready to travel outside of Trinidad and Tobago yet. Soon, but not right now because I want to explore my country first. Yeah.
Okay. So what about because you love doubles. What about doubles in Tobago?
Doubles in Tobago. Well, going to Tobago, the time I went, we didn't really buy not much outside food besides roti, right? There was more of just a line, like a overnight, and then
So you enjoy it, yeah? Tobago is the place.
Yeah. I can't remember the bay I actually went at, but it was a nice bay, clear waters, all kind of things.
You're lucky. When it's rough, it's the worst. Yeah. Okay, so what is your favorite film?
My favorite film? No, the thing is, I like, I have a mixture of, like, I can't say my favorite, I could tell you two of my favorite in two categories, right? Now, one, I like anime. Anime, Japanese anime, I like it, right? And my favorite one is Attack on Titan. It is a masterpiece. To me, it's a masterpiece. The other one is not an anime. It's a series, but it's how historical it was. But it also have fantasy, and that is Game of Thrones. You see that? Yes, I enjoy it. It was fun to watch. It had a lot of fantasy, but it stick along the lines of history to a point. Like the War of the Roses in Britain, in Europe, I should say.
Okay. And favorite book?
Favorite book? I would say The Art of War.
Okay.
That book I read a lot of times, and it's interesting. I would actually say it's between The Art of War and 48 Laws to Power. The stories the historical stories in in those books, the instances, the all these things it was very interesting to listen and to read through it.
And favorite food show?
Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen. Yes.
I tell you what, I love that food show. I don't know how that man can talk to them like that and get away with it. He's just dread. That guy
Yes.
is dread.
Yes. Hell's
It's so funny,
Kitchen
though. It's so
is
funny.
boss.
Yeah. And if
It's
you're into
boss.
cooking, it's a great prize at the end of it. If you could take all that talk, you're set for life, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So when it comes to pepper, is it none, slight, medium, or pepper?
It's between slight and medium. Slight and medium. Because okay, I have a high pepper intake, so my slight and medium will not be what some people would think. But yeah, is high is between slight and medium. I would say slight and medium. Other people will say otherwise, but it's slight and medium for me.
All right. Well, with you being a big pizza man, what are your views on pineapple on pizza?
Now, I know some people could disagree with this, but I like pineapple on pizza. Not all the time, but sometimes. Yes. Not all the, but sometimes a little pizza. If I could get half of the pizza with pineapple and half it out, I good. Yes, I like that.
When it comes to like eating a roti or an oxtail or something like that, are you a messy eater?
Yes. I would say get down in that, enjoy it. If it don't have a little mess on me, I didn't enjoy that. I would, my fingers, all my hand and thing will have parts of the food on it. You'll think my hand eating it. I had to get down in that roti. Oxtail, yes. I'm a messy eater.
What are your views on below the knee food? And this is a big thing in Trinidad, like thing like chicken foot, cow heel. But like to a tourist, if you was to take them to a restaurant and like what one do you think you could more convince them to eat? Cow heel or chicken foot?
I would say cow heel. Because, okay, honestly, me, I will not, I don't really like much chicken foot. I don't really know why I don't like it, but I would more go after like cow heel. It's easier. It's not as meticulous as eating chicken foot and thing. Because yeah, all the toes, you have to get the meat off of and thing, but cow heel, it's easier to get the meat off of the cow heel, easier, and then had the big bone, you know that big bone that had all the delicious essence coming from it. Yes.
So what is your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Non-alcoholic drink. That's a kind of tough question. I would. No, I like a lot of punches, right? And my favorite is between peanut punch and I would say I like jackfruit as well. Jackfruit punch. Peanut punch and jackfruit punch. Yeah. But
I saw somewhere in my village that was selling barbadine, but they didn't have it, and I saw because I haven't had barbadine in years. I really wanted to try that, but I got a beetroot punch instead, and I forgot to tell her don't make it too sweet because I know Trinis love sweet drink, and like when I drank it, it was really I had to drink it over 2 days. It had so much sugar in it.
Yes. Trinidad is a sweet country. Is a real sweet country. Yes.
So, favorite alcoholic drink?
Guinness. Guinness.
Now that
Yeah,
I don't
no.
mind in a punch, but you see the drink? No.
No, I would only drink Guinness at home. At home, you wouldn't really. The only alcoholic drink you may see me drinking out in public is Shandy or Smirnoff, right? But is more Guinness. I would drink at home.
Favorite fruit?
That's a hard question. I will tell you why that's hard. Because the amount of fruits I come across in the forest, and like I've eaten so much fruit, it's kind of hard to say which one is my favorite, right? Huh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You get me on that one, and that's a tough one. You put me in a corner with that question. I don't know. I can't really say which one is my favorite. That's a hard question to answer. I would say I like most fruits. Yeah.
Favorite vegetable?
Cabbage.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
We haven't had that before.
If?
I said we haven't had that one before. Cabbage. No one said cabbage before. You're first.
Yeah, I like cabbage stew, cabbage and cabbage saute, fry up in chow mein. Cabbage, yes. Yes, I like cabbage in coleslaw. I like cabbage in chow mein. I like cabbage. I like cabbage.
All right. So, what would you say is the national dish of Trinidad and Tobago?
Doubles. Doubles. I would say doubles. And here is why, right? Unlike what most people say, doubles is not really a East Indian dish, right? It was developed in Trinidad and Tobago, right? So it wasn't developed in India. So it can't be an East Indian dish. It's a Trinidadian dish that first came about by the East Indians, but in Trinidad. So, and not only that, the reason why I would say the national dish is because it's so readily available. Almost every street corner you could get doubles almost at any time. Almost. And it's the most consumed street food on a Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Yes. Yes. I would say double.
With the price of food now just going through the roof, where would you recommend people to go and get like bargains for like groceries?
Groceries. That's something I don't really do often.
Uh-huh.
I would say the market, more the Port of Spain market and the Tuna Puna market is a good place to get bargains on vegetable and things.
True. I mean, like that is a good place to. That's always going to be the cheapest to get vegetables. You know.
Yeah, but when it comes to groceries, I don't tend to stay long in groceries. I don't really like groceries all that much. I want to get in and out, so I don't really like focus on pricing much. Mirage West Side in Arima is a good place, I would say. EDM also in Arima, but that's a place I normally go in quick and out.
So, like, obviously, like we live in a beautiful island, but there's also a dark side to it. If you was the president for a day, what would be the first thing that you would change?
Repeat that question.
If you was the president or the prime minister of this country, and you could change something to make the country better, what would you do?
I'm kind of radical when it comes to these things, but I would say, one, I will put in certain things in place to arrest politicians who are in corruption. I will make, you see that corruption thing, I will crack down on it because corruption really damaging this country. First of all, the leadership. Everybody that kind of, well, in Trinidad and Tobago, we know it have politicians involved in corruption, and if they are suspected or like highly suspected of corruption, get them out, right? And until they're proven guilty, when they're proven guilty, they should be banned from politics. You know, they shouldn't be like corruption is something when it comes to politics, I hate corruption. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you could try and fight crime or get rid of crime as much as you want, but if corruption is there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even if they go to jail, they'll be out in a few weeks or something, you know? Corruption. Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so let's now talk about. Oh no, let me ask you first of all the final question. I nearly forgot. When it comes to pets, are you licky face or no licky face?
I would say no licky face. No licky face. And I have a good reason for that. I have been around so many animals and see what they have done with their mouth that I would say no licky face.
Right, yeah, I nearly forgot that question there, but right, the wildlife master. How can I describe? Because, like, you know, you're doing things. The only like other two eco people that I know in this country was a guy called Stephen Broadbridge and Courtney Brooks. They're like more older heads now, but they used to do a lot of stuff where they go into the forest and tours and things. But like, I saw your website. I do like what you do. Explain to the people how you got involved with the ecosystem and like caring about wildlife.
Well, you can say my interest in wildlife, the prequel, you can say, to it started around 4, when I was 4 years old, right? And I have good enough memory from age 4, right? And I found a very small black snake in the yard. And I remember picking it up and carrying it to my father because that's the first time I've ever seen a snake. I didn't know what it was. I want to know what kind of worm is this, why it have this coloration and have a mouth with a tongue, and it looked weird to me, so I carried it to my father. And my father watched it, and like he didn't know much about it, so his reaction as a father was hit it out of my hand because he don't know what type it was. And he explained to me what was a snake, an animal with no legs. And I was fascinated, like, it have animals besides worms without legs, and they have bones. What? Nah, I had to find out more about this. And then after that, we found a snail in the yard, and we had it, and that was my first pet, a snail. Right?
That was your first pet?
Yes, a snail, a big South American snail. A pinkish shell, a gray body. This snail was like almost as large as my hand. Big. It was massive. And he had some ridiculous name. Some kind of slime, Mr. Slime, some kind of weird name. And we used to feed him leaves, lettuce, or any kitchen scraps and things. But that was the prequel. Right? My older sister and I, after like around age 6, 7, around there, we decided that, you know what, we're gonna have more snails as pets. And we had these little snails around the yard in this container, this large terrarium with stones, moss on one side, and this area with water and thing, and we had them there. It then developed from that into this massive terrarium with over 20-something insects, beetles, flies in there, caterpillars. We had a giant collection of all these different insects you will find around the yard. We not only just insects, but other like arthropods on them, like spiders, roly-polies, all kind of things. And it went up real far. We had even wasps, Jack Spaniels, Mary Bontas in jars. Like these jars would have the nest on the top of the jars and a hole for them to fly out and come back.
So how old were you when like all this Cajun thing was going on?
Around, it was between 6 and 8. 8 years old, 6 and 8 years old. Right?
Your parents must have been so supportive. Like you said, your father slapped it out of your hand. Like for the first time you saw it, but like a few years later, you see that like inquisitiveness about like animals just grow and grow. So
yes, it's like, well, my father and mother, they were kind of concerned a bit, but my mother then went to the library and borrowed mainly animal books, because that is one way she got me to read, right? Because I'm a very stubborn person a bit, and at that age I was very stubborn, and I didn't want to read nothing unless it contained something with animals in it. And that is one way she got me to read, by borrowing books, reptile books, animal books, all kind of thing. And then all that is just the introduction to my interest in actual animals. So there was a whole interest in insects and all those creatures we had as pets. I could tell you, when we had all this collection, we had like 8 ant farms of different species of ants. We had 4 wasps, Jack Spaniel, 2 Jack Spaniel nests, a Mary Bonta nest.
Did you get stung?
And some others I can't remember. If what?
Did you get stung?
Oh yes. In capturing them, yes, we did. We did. But to us it was worth it at the time. Now, as I'm looking back on it, it was stupid. It was real foolish. Like, it's like, why? But it was worth it. It was worth it. And I learned a lot. We had this where the marigolds would make nests on the glass, and we would see inside of the nest and see how they laying eggs in the cells, how they taking care of it. It was amazing. We had ants, we had beetles, we had all these things. I would say the total of insects was more than 2,000. We had a lot.
I really got to tip my hat to your parents too, because like most parents would not put up with that.
No, well, my parents rather that than we just skylark doing nothing. At least we're learning something, right?
You see that your interest from such a young age, and it's a good thing to get into, Really.
Yeah.
So how has that progressed from your youth to now?
Oh well, it made a big leap around age 11 when we moved to Grandy to live. There was this trough in the yard, old trough, and any coral snakes we find around the yard, we would throw them in the trough, because I had two younger sisters, and we didn't want them to step on it, right? Step on any of the coral snakes. So I remember
snakes are the dangerous ones, yeah.
Yeah, one of the most highly venomous snakes. One of the highly venomous snakes in Trinidad. So I remember more myself. I would put them in the trough, right? And over time, we would also put in other snakes. Well, I would normally put in other snakes because I know coral snakes eat other snakes. And we would find some small garden snakes around the yard. And then after a time, I noticed there were baby coral snakes. Like somehow the coral snakes laid eggs somewhere in the trough, and it hatched out and had baby coral snakes. And that's the first time I know somebody actually successfully breed coral snakes, and I did it apparently by accident. So I was fascinated at that point even more, and that took off with an interest in a whole lot of things from. I remember my mother went to. I only telling her borrow books from the library on snakes, on Trinidad animals, and she brought a book at time. She brought a book called Snakes of Trinidad and Tobago, and it had every single snake in that book, right? And on the cover was a larger coral snake or a ribbon coral snake. And that evening she brought it. The night we found the exact snake on the cover on the ground, crawling through the house. And it was amazing. It was wonderful. It was fantastic.
Crawling through the house, did you say?
Yes, it was crawling through the house. It was on the ground, just sliding through the house, and we took it up, put it in a scoop. We took a broom and sweep it in the scoop, and I carried it down by a nearby stream.
So I'm confused. Coral snakes, are they popular in Trinidad? Because I've been here 15 years. I haven't seen one yet, and like I live in kind of like, there's a lot of greenery around me, and thankfully. I mean, I know you're excited when you see them, but thankfully I haven't seen any yet.
Well, I would say the most popular coral snake to bounce up is the Trinidad coral snake, or the smaller coral snake as they call it. That one is red, white, and black. Right? It's almost exact like the Trinidad flag. It only have a black tail and a black head, and that. You could bounce it up in rural areas, but over the years the number has declined in rural areas, and you can get it more in heavy forested areas. But that is the highly venomous snake I've bounced up more than any other.
Okay. Now, are they timid or aggressive? Like, if you just walk past it, they're gonna leave you alone?
Yeah. Actually, the first thing a coral snake will do when you come across it and it notices you, it will hide its head and lift up its tail, right? And it will try to bury its head because the head is the most vulnerable part. And normally, if you cannot prod at it, it will look to slide away extremely fast. Like it will look to hightail it. And well, coral snakes is one of the few highly venomous snakes that can't strike, and they know it. So it's easy not to get bite from it. You gotta like real try or do something ridiculous in order to get bite from it. Yeah.
Wow, it's interesting stuff. And like you must have seen so many different fauna throughout the country. Where's your favorite place to go? Like your favorite forest to go and see, like some of the things.
I would say the northeast part of the northern range, like from the hills of Arima, go back to Toko. Also around Blanchishes and Tamana. Yeah. I would say those are two of my favorite places to explore because of it unpredictable, and it is like a lot of people don't know how big Trinidad is. It's small but big. Like that forest in the northeast, so large, it's barely explored. Right? Merely hunters go through there more than any other person. But it is massive, massive. You could get lost for some days in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you go, do you go on your own, or do you do like tours down there, or?
Sometimes I will go alone, right? Most of the time I go with company, with people that people that showing real interest in the forest, that they want to go. I would carry some people sometimes, and people that already going through the forest. For instance, like this person, he's on Instagram. He's go by the name Bush Monster. He is one person I will go in the forest with. Next person is this person known as Benji Boss. He's most of my in some of my vlogs, you could see him. I would go with him, and next person, Nathaniel or Natty. That's what he did. He goes by that name on the internet. He's a great artist. He's doing nice art and thing, but yeah, those people are some people I would go in the forest with. As well as I can't forget my siblings. Yeah.
Okay, now, when I first came to Trinidad, I noticed one time, like, they were doing some construction, and someone shouted out, "Oh, snake!" And, like, I hear them beating up the thing and trying to chop it up. And when I come and look, the snake must have been no longer than a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet. I'm thinking to myself, why are you trying to kill that? I think a lot of people in Trinidad are still very scared of snakes, especially. And frogs. I mean, what do you think when it comes to like men and women? Frogs and spiders. Who's more afraid? Is it men, women, or is it both the same?
The surprising thing is this. When it comes to frogs, I've met more women scared of frogs, right? And when it comes to spiders, I've met more men afraid of spiders, right? But I would say there are more people. I met more people afraid of frogs than spiders.
Okay. But in general, a frog isn't gonna do nothing to you, no?
Not really. Actually, our frogs are not really that dangerous. Only if you touch it and then put your hand in your mouth.
Right. That's what I'm trying to tell someone, because my neighbours, they're real scared of frogs. And I was trying to, they're gonna do nothing to you. If anything, their defense mechanism is to stay perfectly still until you pass, and then they'll go. But I said the only way it can damage you really is what you just said. If you touch it and then if you try and put the frog in your mouth or put your hands in your mouth after you touch it, then you might get sick. But aside from that, frogs are relatively safe.
Yeah, it don't really have nothing to worry with frogs and things. They will stay still, or like the crackle will pop away as fast as it can, you know. So it kind of perplexed, and I would say I kind of perplexed with why people are afraid of it. But then when you look at it, when it comes to like obia in Trinidad and Tobago, normally a frog is like if you see a dead crackle on a stick, die obia and things. So people, I would say it kind of correlates with obia and crackle. So people kind of assume it are one and the same. I'm not entirely sure on that, but there's Trinidad and Tobago is a very superstitious place. I would say that for sure. And crackle, yeah, crackle is one of the most attacked frogs of our amphibians. Crackle is more of a toad, but it's one of the most attacked amphibians than any other. But it's also one of the most beneficial because a crackle diet consists of insects, small mammals like rat and mouse, as well as snakes and lizards. So they normally would consume almost everything you're afraid of, except themselves. They will even eat themselves. The young, smaller ones, they will feast on smaller crackle.
Okay. Wow. So the tours, like if people wanted to like go on one of your tours, how do they get involved?
Well, I haven't done any tours yet, and maybe in the future, but there's a reason. The reason being I haven't done much tours because my trips are kind of, well, I wouldn't say kind of, they are risky, high risk. We go in places that not well, like we would go in areas that have well developed trail and then walk off the trail. We would just head into the forest where you have things that could drop on you. They hide in somewhere, and there's a lot of people I bounce up that they would say they don't go on any hiking trail, and if you want to go in the bush, hiking trails are the best place to be. That's the safest area in the bush, the hiking trails. clear, you could see, you're good. When you divert off the trail, that is when it gets kind of dangerous because there's not every people that like real afraid of snakes and spiders, everything will start to look like a snake and spider. A vine, a twig on the ground, everything. It's not. I would say when you go in bush, it's different from if you're going on a hike. I don't really go on hikes. I go on camps. I go camping in the bush for a few days, and I explore. We do it almost rough. We do it hammock thing. We make a tent. We shelter all kind of thing, and we cook outside. We spend the night in the wilderness, in the bush, tree overhead, all kind of thing. So it's a bit high risk.
So when you go, do you take a compass?
No.
Because like I went up where was it? Avocado Waterfalls just before COVID. Went with some friends and like with no phone signal, no compass, daytime, so lost. So we didn't know where the hell we were, And like you guys going down there, no compass at night, and like not all the time you would know exactly where you're going. So what? You using the stars or what?
Funny thing is, my sense of direction is so off, like off, right? My sense of direction is very off. What I will do is take a visual picture of places. Like, I will see how, now, okay, there's I would say, 4 ways of me getting out of the forest or going through the forest. One, if it's a rainy day and it's muddy, I'll take heavy steps through the forest. It leaves a footprint, right? The other thing is mark the streams that I cross or follow the streams. I know going back down the stream is where I came from, so if I go opposite, depending on which way, the stream is the area I've been. The other way is when you're walking through the bush, there's a trick some hunters use. Every branch or leaf in the way, they will bend it or break it. And so when you're coming back, you'll see the break, fall and leave, the break, the cuts through the forest. And then the last part is, let's say I'm going in an area with 2 hills. After passing between the hills, or on the side of the hill, I turn around, look at how it's looking from a certain distance, and I could average where I'm going, right? But to say when you put me in the forest and east, west, north, I don't know. I generally don't know. But, yes, it's fun.
Okay, so you're the wildlife master. How do they get in touch with you on social media?
You can get in touch with me, message me on Instagram, on Facebook. You could that I would say Instagram is the quickest way to get in touch with me. Facebook, I would say yes, a bit. But yeah, it's easy to get in touch with me on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've just subscribed to your YouTube and your Instagram, and I encourage like the viewers to do the same as well. I want to see if I can just go through some of your photographs. Have we got time for that, or are you in a bit of a rush?
Yeah, we have a lot of time. We have a lot of time.
This is your page, yeah?
Yes.
This is the photograph section of your page.
Yes. Yeah, that's the photo. Yeah, that's all the pictures and things.
I was looking at this thing and I thought, this slime meeting, what is this? It's a fish.
Yes. That is a cutlass fish. Internationally, they call it banded knifefish, and is one of 3 freshwater eels found in Trinidad, but it's not a true eel. Right?
Oh.
It related to the electric eel of South America, and it does give off an electric pulse, but the electric pulse is not strong enough to shock humans. It more uses the electric pulse to locate food.
Right. Oh, so what is that your hands there?
No, that is a friend of mine. That is
All
Buck
right,
Monster.
I don't know whether it's a flash, but they did look a bit like light for your hands. But what was it?
Yeah.
Was it tingling him?
No, no, it
Oh,
wasn't. You don't feel any electric pulse or anything.
oh.
Actually, it feels very slimy and soft. But it's a beautiful fish.
So this crab here, is it a crab?
Prawn, a shrimp.
That I mean, the claw looks bigger than the body.
Yep, yep. What? It's odd. Only males have these massive claws, then they have these very small bodies, and it is amazing how they just carry them claws around. You see them swimming fast, fast with it. They're very quick, kind of difficult to catch.
Okay, so then, because I'm thinking, how can they get around on land like that?
Well, well, the shrimps don't get around on land. They can't go on land just so. They could maybe go on land for a few seconds or probably a minute, but they have to go back in the water because they're not well adapted to go on land, and especially large males on land, their claws are very heavy. Yeah.
Now I've seen some legs on this like snake-looking thing. Called a
Yes, Trinidad Bachia.
Bachia.
Yes, it's no. This is it's a lizard a lot of people never really come across because it lives right below the surface of the ground. But the funny thing is, I and a few people come across a lot. Like, they just show up in certain places, normally around dead wood or when we dig any yam in the forest.
You know what? It looks like it's kind of fast. It
Yeah,
looks like it's got
actually,
some
they're not
pace.
that
Oh, it's not that
fast.
fast.
The Bachia not really that fast.
Okay. And I hope this snake isn't too fast at all.
No, this snake is not fast. It's extreme. That snake was 13 feet. Uh, Almost like a full grown, you can say female. That is massive.
That's wild.
Extremely
that's not your pet or anything. That's wild. That's a wild snake.
Yeah, we found that. You see the tree in the background by where the head is, where the head of the snake is.
Right.
We found it around there. Right? We just taking a stroll and see it crawling up on the back. It was interesting.
All right, and it's not too aggressive like when you're trying to handle it because it's a wild snake. It's
No, I don't know if you saw the video I did with the macaw, but it was this one I did the video with the boa, a big snake that was by my feet. But this one I did the video with, and in the video in the comments, a lot of people say it looked calm and thing, but in actuality, it was calm. But before it got calm, it was hissing loud. It strike. My foot was very close to it. It strike a bit. But the way I would pop up and it hiss, it would be even terrible. Very terrible. Like,
so this is the one they call a mackerel?
Yes, yes. The second largest snake in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, the largest snake in Tobago and the second largest in Trinidad.
Is it a constrictor or is it venomous?
It's a constrictor, a boa constrictor. Red-tailed boa is the international name or common boa, but locally we call it mackerel.
So it is a boa constrictor.
If?
It's a boa constrictor, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I see, like, is this one of your pets?
No. They're actually the most common lizard throughout Trinidad and Tobago. I found them on the walls, on the pillars, and it took me a while to kind of gain their trust because I would put out things to attract insects or put out little insects around, and they come pretty close to me. Right. So I was able to get 3 of them on my hand to take that picture and a video.
Okay. So what would you say to people who are scared of lizards? Because lizards ain't really going to do you anything. Or snakes, the non-venomous type. What would you say to people who would normally try to kill them?
Well, Normally, I would say if like I would say like in the art of war, right? In the book, The Art of War, there's a part where it says know your enemy, right? And understand them. So if you're afraid of snakes, well, plenty. I would say do research on the thing that you're afraid the most. And then you would realize it's not all that to be afraid of, you know. I would say expose yourself to it so that you can overcome the fear. And anything that you're afraid of will hold you back. And sometimes some people will say, well, I afraid of snake, but that ain't gonna hold me back. And you'll be surprised how much people have not explored wonderful places in Trinidad just because of that fear. Some people never go, like there was some people I talked to that never go Rio Seco. Rio Seco is the most popular waterfall in Trinidad, and it's a beautiful place. And I've been on that trail and barely find any snake. I did see 3 snakes, but to say it has snake all over it, I met some people that will not go Rio Seco because they afraid snake and they miss out on a spectacular, or like Maracas waterfall, a grand waterfall. And some people, because they're afraid of snake and spiders, they never experience places like that, and they could never actually fully say how beautiful Trinidad is.
You know what scares me out there is the mosquitoes. I can't think of. I can't think of. So hopefully one day I'll come out on the trail with you, like after this COVID thing, like one day in the future. Have you got any sponsors or friends that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I have no sponsors. Well, nobody really wants to sponsor my expeditions yet. Well, I would say Benji Boss and Bush Monster have been two, and my sisters. They have been people that always going out, going the extra mile, pushing me to go more places, to explore more, supportive actually. Excuse me. Yeah, and seeing certain things because growing up, the places I've been to in the bush is more my sisters where they go, and sometimes my father, and we would go to certain places more looking for yam, fruits, other things we could find forage in the forest because it's fun. It's fun to go out there. And I would say there's some groups of hunters like Mangal. Yeah, Mangal is a hunter that I recently met him and we had a blast. Um, there's who is it? Who is the other one? Narinja, yes. Mongol and Narinja.
Right.
They fun. It was fun.
And what are you looking forward to eating later?
Later, I am looking forward, and I hope I get some roti.
So I mean, the people would probably wonder why I didn't ask you. So what's with the mask? Why are you keeping your identity from the people then?
Okay, I would say most people in Trinidad and Tobago that does exploration and all these things, they like to show their face. They like to people to see who they are, right? And sometimes they get carried away with it, with being in the spotlight. But instead, I decided to take a different approach and let the things in my photos be the spotlight. Because there's one picture of me. I'm sure you must realize with me with the mackerel, right? But instead of me being the spotlight, I want my content to be the spotlight because I want people to see what we have out there. And a lot of these creatures have not. There's no proper video documentation of it. Like the smallest lizard in Trinidad, dwarf gecko, right? The only place you'll find the first ever video footage, detailed video footage you'll find, is on my TikTok page. And there's a lot of species in Trinidad that is not properly video documented. Like there's a video format. That's the reason why I started like bounce up and a bush. So things like you could bounce up in the forest and bush, like the series that to do with a bush that you could see. You know, trees, that is a bush, that is some kind of thing. So I want the creatures and the plants and things to be the focus, not so much me. So that, and I rather walk down the road and nobody humbug me. Like nobody actually say, "Hey, that's why I'm not walking it." Like, no, I like, I'm kind of I like my privacy a bit. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
So the coral snake, they have them in the zoo.
I am not sure because I don't really visit the zoo that much. The zoo, honestly, is not that fun for me. I believe there is one or two, but I'm not sure.
No, the only reason I'm asking that is because I think you said something like the coral snake in your van, laid eggs and bred, and it was one of the first places in Trinidad that happened. So I was thinking, hasn't that happened? Haven't they bred any in the zoo before?
No, and the reason being is because coral snakes eat other snakes as well as their own kind, right? So it's very difficult. As I said, I don't know what I did. I just placed them as a young child. I didn't know much at the time. I just placed them in a trap and I left them there because in my mind I was thinking that they will have a utopia in the trap and they would live out the best life and things. So I wasn't aware what I did. Now, if you came by us and you saw the trap, you wouldn't even think coral snakes in there. They were well hidden. It had leaves, had old wood, rotten wood, old grass, all kind of thing in there, and they were well hidden. So I really don't know what I did. I may try to replicate that in the future to actually see the process, but there is no place I know that actually or successfully got them to breed.
In captivity? Wow.
Yeah, in captivity.
Interesting. Well, I really want to thank you for your time today. It was an interesting conversation, you know. I hope that we've made some of the adults out there a little bit less afraid, but I've got a funny feeling they'll probably be just as afraid now as they were then.
Yes. So, yes, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. It was wonderful talking to you. I had a lot of fun reminiscing on some old times. But yes.
Okay. Why not, Martha? It was great having you on the show, and I hope you enjoy your roti later.
Okay. You have a wonderful time. It's been a pleasure to be on this show. I hope we talk and meet again soon.
Yeah, one day, hopefully, probably in a year or so. We never know. We might do a trail together. Blessings. You take care.
Yes. Okay, take care. And I'm heading back out in the bush.